welcome to the Mentored Engineer. In our last video, we were looking at coupling the shaft from our engine to the shaft of our pump. And we had to buy a Lovejoy coupler to do that. And it's a great thing because we can adapt many different types of shafts. And what I want to explain now is that these shafts are standardized. SAE came in years ago and standardized all these shafts so that we know what exactly the shaft type will be and how it will bolt to our motor flange. Okay, so let's look at this, and I'm going to look at type A in the SAE categorization of shafts. And they have for shafts, you can get either a keyed shaft or a splined shaft. All right, now keyed shafts are very widely accepted. You're probably going to find more stuff available in this. But the splines, I like them because they have better torque output. The torque here is localized to just where the key is, whereas a spline, it's evenly distributed about. Okay, so what you want to do is look into an SAE table for this. They're readily available online. And you can look at the types. They've got A, double A, B, double B, C, double C, and I think DE is probably as big as they go. They may have some bigger ones there, but you can look it up on the table. But anyway, it tells you exactly what the dimensions are for this. So I've drawn here the type A one for both a keyed shaft and a spline shaft. So they're both going to have a 5/8 inch diameter. And the keyed shaft is going to have a 5/32 inch key in it. All right, and that's properly sized. They've done engineering to say, all right, if you got a shaft this big, you're probably going to be putting up this much torque, and you need this size key to deal with that. So they're all standardized things, and for the most part, properly sized. All right, so when we get into the spline, same 5/8 diameter. It's going to tell you how many teeth it has. In this case, it's 9 tooth. As they get bigger, there's going to be more teeth. And they also tell you what the diametrical pitch of the spline is, and that's just the convention of how they do it. If you find a 9-tooth type A, it's going to be a 16 over 32nd diametrical pitch. All right, so our motors and our pumps all have to bolt up to a mounting surface. All right, so they have two different ways of doing that. They have the 2-bolt series and the 4-bolt series. And the 2 bolts, everything's in a row here. It's in a square pattern, and basically all it is you have a couple pieces of information. You need to know what your pilot size is. All right, so that's just the diameter, and you want to make your pilot just a little bit bigger than that, so your motor or your pump fits right into that. Then you'll line up your holes and you'll bolt through them there. Okay, so the pilot is something they give you. They also give you a pitch circle diameter, which is basically if I draw a circle between these 2 bolt holes, how big it needs to be to mount that in. And then we have our bolt holes, which specified size. All right, same's true of the 4-bolt pattern. You just have 2 more bolt holes. So SAE has done this wonderful thing by laying all this out. All we need to do is find out, hey, what kind of shafts are available, and then finding mating components, and then finding out what our mounting brackets are and how they are. Now the great thing about this is if we're mounting a pump to a motor or something like that, you can buy already made devices so that you don't have to have several plates to mount it. This will bolt up right to the end of the motor. You put your shaft coupler there, and then you put your pump there. And all of it bolts in. It's one bracket. You can find these on websites like Granger and stuff like that. But they're great tools. Another thing you can do is you can actually get what is something called close coupled, where we have a shaft coming out of a motor, but our pump actually has the female equivalent of that. So you can just bolt these two things right up together. No mating brackets ever needed. Just one last thing, I'll remind you, I haven't reminded you in the last video, use anti-seize in between the 2 faces because you'll want to get them apart sometime. Well, that's it for this episode of The Mentored Engineer. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.